Masechta Bava Basra Kuf Mem Ches Hamad Aleph. We're starting from Kuf Mem Ches Hamad Beis. The last two words. One more. Ibaylahu. The last two words on the Amid. Ibaylahu. All the way on the bottom. Ibaylahu. Ibaylahu. Yeah. Ibaylahu. The Yomar Defect Hakasha. Yeah. Yehodim Behen. If the Shechina said, I want to see that person have enough my nechasim. Hana.
If you give it to him, you have a no.
Oh, 1 minute. So he says maybe he means to give. Now, what's the din? The Nabi Kulu Matana Makama? Does he mean to give it to him as a whole Matana? Because if he wants to see him to have enough, that means maybe he's giving it over. Or maybe his kavan is just he should have enough from it, but not that he should clean it completely. Be eat, sit there.
Why do you want to think that it's a good matana?
Okay, we don't know if he said it. I mean, the guy Tainas, he meant that's what they're arguing about. He said he gave it to him. Okay, he used this lashon.
You want to know what they know over here.
It wasn't. Hana could be all the way that he gave it to him. Or just as see ya. Okay, that is right. So you know about him. I want to see him in my clothing. I want to see him in my car and driving. So what's the din? Yamit b'hem ma'u. Okay, maybe he's giving him the whole kinyan, or he just wants to see him like that, driving and in his car. He has anon that yamit b'hem ma'u. He let him stand in my shoes and okay. You show him b'hem. He should be able to lean, meaning rely on it. What do you mean rely? Rely meaning it's his?
On the tree?
On the field. He can rely on the field. Is it meaning that it's his field or not? Oh, no. Well, we want to know if he can rely. It means it completely his or not.
How they figure it out?
They don't know. They don't have an answer. Tishbi Yitat, it's kushes.
How if I can figure it out? All those things.
Okay. So he says take. We don't know what he meant. Zog the Yimar. Ibaylo the Yimar Kafek Tashayla. Mochak on the chasim. He didn't give that as a matana. He sold all his nechasim before he passed away to somebody else, thinking that he's going to pass away. Ma, what's the din when he recovers? Because he said, I would have never sold my nechasim. That's ridiculous. The property meant so much to me, but he said he saw he's passing away, so he sold. He had the money.
He's going to die and keep the money.
But no, he's probably he had the money. That's what it says. But so the shaila is, did he sell all the nechasim?
Why? Before he never sold the merchant.
He gave it a matana. Now he sold it. He sold it, but he says he would have never sold it if he would have known that he's going to recover. So could he buy it back? Sometimes we find Rav Yehuda saying two different opinions. He says if he recovered the first place we found, says he can't retract, and then another place, if he recovered, he could retract. How does it make sense? Says it's not. There's no question. Here we're talking about that he has still the money piled up on his table. So, what meaning to say that he left it in his issues, he didn't get rid of it. Why? Thinking that if he recovers, he'll buy back the field. I'll give him back the money. Here's your money, exactly the exact way you put it on my table. Here's staying there. He didn't put it nowhere.
He didn't spend it yet.
Okay. The parino b'chayve. But here he paid up chayves, he paid up different bills. So he has no money. So now he says, but I still want to buy back. I have different money. I want to buy back. I made some money. That's too bad. So right. And that's why it's not a contradiction. So weird that they said he can recover it. If he recovers, he can buy it, he can retract. If he has all the money on the table, he says, okay, this is it. I didn't know. But look, I left the money here that if I recover, I can buy it back.
Over here,
it's gone. In fact, a shchimera that was made on his nechasim, that he's sitting in the rishus. It doesn't belong to him. It belongs to somebody else. Ma, what's the din? Is it like these Iranians? They say it's my father's, but they don't want to say they're rich. It's his father's. It doesn't belong to him, and he really does. Or really, he's telling the truth. It doesn't belong to him.
You never say that? It's your father?
So you don't know. Tashma.
But how come it's by him?
Huh? He says it's by me, but it's not mine. It's my father's.
My
So
wife's.
That's my wife. Yeah, Tashma, come in here.
That's why first second.
Okay. Tashma, come in here. They'll bring our eye from the following story. The Isur Giyuda. Is is the name of a ger. He put 13,000 zuz. He put it in Rava's hand to be a nifkad. He was mafkid. Isur the guy.
What is 13?
Oh, I don't know. He put.
So why you put in 13,000?
He should hold it to him as a
It
pekadon.
was like a bank.
A pekadon. Hold it for me. Watch it. Now, Isa, who was this guy? He married Rachel, the daughter of Shmuel. How did Rachel live with him? He was a guy, because she was in captivity, and he lived with her. And then he became a yid. If the middle, while Rabmari was, she was pregnant. While she was pregnant, in the middle of the pregnancy, he became a Jew. So
He became a Jew.
he became a Jew. Isser. So Rabmari is not his son, because if the hirasa, if the pregnancy was before he was Jewish, then he's not considered as a son. He's a guy. Isa was a guy. Rabmari is not his
In
son.
other words, it's her son.
It's her son, yeah, but
Not his,
it's not his son. He has no yichus. Yerusha goes according to the father. The father is being mairish. So look what happens. Rabmari Berei. Rabmari was his son. Hirasa Shalebi Kedusha. The pregnancy was not Bikadusha. Leidas Bikadusha Havayah. But by the time Rachel, the daughter of Shmuel, gave birth, then he was already a yid. That's Chmigai.
So he gave a Kedusha as long as she was still pregnant.
Nachamal?
The Kedusha that he gave her was Mekadosh, or she was still pregnant, or was after?
No, he became a gay in the middle of the pregnancy. So, but when he was conceived as a child, he was a guy.
Right.
So it's not. Then the child is not his. It's not his. It's not a son and a father. It's like two goyim.
Was there Kedushin? Was there Kedushin?
Yeah. When they were pregnant, yeah.
When did it make
Yeah.
the Kedushin?
It was too late already.
But that's too late already because
When
they
did he make
conceived
Kedushin?
during the pregnancy.
When did he marry her?
During the
Officially?
pregnancy. During the
When he
pregnancy.
became a Jew.
Yeah, but that doesn't help because
Because
look
he
at the
became-
time when he was
decided
conceived.
before.
He was not He was not Jewish, and the son and the father are
So
like
she was
two
actually
guys.
his wife, right? She was a kosher
Yeah,
wife.
yeah.
So
Oh.
it's not his son then.
It's not his son. Amar Rava, so Rava says,
So
look,
his stepson.
his steps, not even. It's not even the son. It's nothing. Amar Rava said, Niknu Rav Mari lahani zuzi. So, Heichi Niknu Rav Mari lahani zuzi. Rava was so excited. I'm holding the money. He says, Ashchim Merah. Rav Mari can't get the money. How is he going to get the money? And Ashchim Merah cannot give over, even as a matana, to a person who's not a Yiddish.
And the Shimon was a gay.
It's the gay Easter. Look what happens. So he was excited. Rava says, "This money's mine. I'm holding on." The second he dies, he was the nifkid. He was holding on to the money. So the second he dies, it's hefker. He can't it. So he says, "Look, how is that money ever going to get this money?" Rava's laughing. He's saying,
But can't give it to his wife.
"No, he doesn't want to give it. He wants the money for himself." Rava's a lot of mullah, 13,000 zuzi. Okay, so he says, "Ibi Yerusha." If he thinks, if Rav Mari is going to be zech the money be Yerusha, la ba Yerusha, he's not a Yiddish, because she conceived him while Isa was still a guy. If matana, if going to say, oh, it's matna shchivmera. He's saying he's giving it as matana as a shchivmera.
Okay.
That's the help nicht. Matna shchivmera is Yerusha shavu Rabbanan. Rabbanan said the only reason why matna shchivmera helps because it helps as a Yerusha also. He could do it as a Yiddish.
Because he was Jewish. Didn't he?
If he was Jewish at the conceivment and he wants to give him in his lifetime, then it's good. But if he were to die and the son would not be a Yiddish anyway, then the matana as a shchimena wouldn't help either. Because we say, Kol hechdi is matana. The only way that a matana shchimena is done without a kinyan is just by the body. To be amazed.
So what
It
am I
doesn't.
saying? This money is all hefker.
He's going to become hefker. Wait. He says, Kol hechdi leis b'Yerusha. Since anything that's not shy by Yerusha, every case that it's not possible that nechasim should be transferred to this person through a Yerusha, so then we say, b'matana. So there's no possibility of being maknit as a matna shchimera. And since Isa was a gay, and he's not allowed to be meidish to his nechasim to Ramari because Ramari was not his son, because the conceivement
Before.
of Ramari happened before he became a yid. He's not roy to Yashin. Therefore, Isa cannot transfer the nechasim to Ramari through matnas chimera. So the Gemara.
What's the eighth?
What's it? Okay, and he b'Mashiach. Oh, so he's going to tell him. You know what? Isa will tell your money, come and make a Mashiach in the money by Rava, and it'll be your money. So the Leisna Gabe, the money wasn't here. The Rava was.
He didn't spend the money right.
Rava was hid the money far away. He brings down that the Ashbam says if he's going to want to make a Mashiach in the money, lo yala adam b'yadim, b'nei shamois, lo yayi b'asing yadish Rava. It wasn't even within reach. A little bit makim rachik. It was so far. Sheitzniya, or you say hate them. He hid it so well from the ganavim. So we'll get the machna mashiach. So I say, "Vai, ibe chalipen." Oh, you're going to say, "Oh, you know how he's going to be kainayit? He's Ramari will give us a handkerchief in exchange. He'll be kainay the money." So the money matbeya nikne bechalipen. Matbeya coins cannot be exchanged with a suda. It doesn't work.
So how do you?
So he said, "Iagav karka." So Isa will give him. Isa will give a piece of his karka to him, and he says he could tell him, "Oh, with this karka that you're going to be making a chazaka, you're going to be kind of together. Can you nagav the money also?" Leslie Yara, he didn't have any karka, and the Rashbam says he didn't even have a karka of rent. He wasn't even renting karka. He had nothing.
He gave everything away.
He gave everything. He had nothing.
Rava didn't have any.
He just didn't have. He's a
He
poor
didn't
guy.
have and Rava didn't have, right?
No, it had nothing to do with Rava. It has to be Isa giving away karka. Kinyan Agav, he's going to be kind of the kesef. Says you want to even Maimet Shloshlim. Maimet Shloshlim, that means Isa was the one that gave the pikadon. Rava is the nifkat, is holding the. And that money, so Isa wants that the money that's sitting by Rava as a pikadon should go to that money. So he says, he shalach li lo yazilna. Rava says, they need all of us three to stand together. But if they're going to ask me to come, I'm not coming. That's it.
But he was an Erlich Yid, right?
He's a Helachayid. We'll soon see. Sagt die Mara, man, das ist eine Ehrlichkeit. Was?
Hier kommst du money.
Ani betzedek, ich hab dir gesagt, Ani betzedek bis zu der Kashna, sagt sie. Sagt die Mara, Maske.
But he didn't have it in the cash.
No, but the Meiri says that Lechatchila, he didn't have mind to steal it. He wanted to get the money and then give it later to Rabmari, that Rabmari should owe him a favor back. We'll soon see.
So now you will make him a tzaddik, okay?
Martin, always, muscular, Raveka. Very Ravami. Raveka is the Shaila, Raveka, the son of Ravami, is the Shaila. Amai, what are you talking about? There's no way of figuring this out. I have an answer. Veludi, Isa, the Holland, Zuzi, the money, Nino. Let Isa be made that the money that's sitting by Rava belongs to that money. And I does Baldin to that money. His son is you called it a stepson, let's say. Said it belongs to him, and I does Baldin Kmeya Edim Dani.
He's a Shchimra, right?
He's a Shchimera, and Bechlal, the klal is I does Baldin Kmeya Edim Dani. So Isa could be made that the money that's by Rava.
How's he going to prove that it belongs to Murray?
He because he does Baldin Kmeya Edim Dani. Nobody's claiming against it.
He's a Shchiva.
Nobody's claiming against
But Issa
it.
gave the money to Rava, right?
He didn't give it. He gave it to hold him as a bekadin, not to keep. And that's
So
this
he's
kid.
saying, now he's saying that it's really...
It's really not mine. It's our money's.
Why did you give it, who gave you Rishus to give it to Rava?
I was holding it for Amari, and now I tell him that really this money only, this money that I gave it to hold wasn't mine. It was my money's. Okay,
You
good.
have to swear?
No, Velikninu, Beidisa, let it be kinda. This is a kinyan like this. He does Baldin. You don't even have to make a kinyan. If somebody's made himself that he owes money to that person, the money goes to that person without a
You
kinyan.
can collect somebody's money that you sold collect.
Yeah, without a kinyan, it doesn't have to be kinyan.
I don't need a star.
No, without a
shkima.
shkima. He does Baldin. Eina is alleen meide. As der Geld is deiner, darfst nicht machen kein kinyan. It's yours. To me hate them, dummy, right? So Adahachi Nafik Adus Aidisa Mebeis. He was listening. What happened? Rabbi told everybody, "There's no way I have money getting this money. It's going to become Hefka. I'm going to get
I
it."
got the lotto.
So everybody was listening to this, and everybody got engaged into the conversation. Let's see if there's a way to get it to Rab Murray.
So take it back. Take it out.
So Be'isa was listening to the back and forth in the Beis Medrash, and he said, "You know what? Let me chance it. It seems like the people are saying there's a kinyan of saying if you're Hidas Baldin, then it belongs to that person." So he took the chance, and he was made there. Ik Peter Rava was angry.
So you made it a lot.
The
money belongs to the son.
Now it belongs to the son. Amma, kamagmeri, tanas leinshe. There are those that learn the tainus because they heard from me saying in the Beis Medrash that there's no way of Rab Murray to be kainet. The Beis Medrash angefallen, that's it. And they made me lose. Okay, yeah. So he was upset. So now, look, Ameidi Mefadish Shagam Lechatchila Lo Yiskaven Rabba Liskes B'Mois. The Meidi says he didn't have in mind to be zeichen this money la'atzman for himself. Ella Lasa says Le'amari. He wanted to give it to Ramari. Ella Shu Tayin Shamari Lo Yuchal Liskes B'Hem Min Adin. His taina was there's no way of him being zeichet Min Adin. In Cain, Kishayit. But let me just finish here. He's in Cain Kishayit and Lo Yirav Es Hamois. So he made a cheshbon. Rabbi says, "When I'll give him the money, you kind bekach ma'aseh chesed. I'll fulfill a nice, yeah. He's chayiv Rab Murray lahasi lo yiteva al kach, and Rab Murray will owe him a favor in return."
Whose idea is saying this?
The meidi. Ukishagilas husband. Huh? Who knows? He was the son. He was the son of Shmuel. He was the grandson of Shmuel. So the grandson of Shmuel, he would be able to do. He had connections. So Kishagilas Azna Shel Isa, but when Isa heard how the Beis Medrash was talking about it, so why should he have to do any favors? No favors. It's going to have Marich Chalamachan Hakinya Azay Haidos Valdin and finishes done. Okay, so
And then he's going to die. Where was he ready to die?
and then he passed away. Yeah.
He passed away in the end?
Yeah, and Rava got the money, and Rava was upset. Okay.
He got the base.
So you get no favors from nobody.
Ja, don't me dan, let me do zeg, maar ook zeg, nicht dein Honig, nicht dein Beiß, ich will gut nicht. Okay, anyway, gaat ze schon zu sagen, that Rava, yeah, he was excited.
Well, he had to come and make him a nice guy, Otherwise
He didn't have to come making that. That was the story. That's the truth. You think the media didn't have Ruach HaKodesh?
Oh, okay.
Okay, so obviously that was the
Was
truth.
Arishan?
Yeah, sure. He is Arishan. The Shem had the biz. Sag die mal, Shia Karka
So
Kolsho.
the big chefs also had a money.
Ja, es kommt zu Geld zu schmecken. Es kommt zu Komplimenten und Geld, alles schmecken. Shia Karka Kolsho who? If he left over a little bit of Karka, Matanase Kayemas. If the Shchimera wrote all his nechasim to another person, but he left a little bit of Karka for himself. So the moment he left Karka for himself, he cannot taina. When he recovered, I didn't mean to give you. You have still what to survive. You left Karka. Since you left from the chasm yourself.
We had this before.
Yeah. He's going back to before from the Mishnah. This is the Mishnah. Now the Gemara wants to know the Kama. What's the shear of the Karka to say that he can retract? That okay. So Gemara Kolshul. Aber Rabbi Yehuda Amar, was meint es? Karka kidei fanasasei. That he has karka in order for he and his family to sustain themselves from the payers. That's what it is. Rabbi Yirmiyah Bar Abba says it doesn't have to be karka. Mitaltalin kidei fanasasei. Even schera. Like Ronan has a lot of schera, but schera to sell, that's that merchandise that you could survive on. That's good also. Sweaters, expired tuna, whatever you want, potato chips, whatever you name, all expired, but it still sells. Rabbi Zer. Yeah. Rabbi Zera, Kama mechavnan shmaitza desavi. He says, how exact was the Hira of this kingdom of Rav and Rav Yirmiyah? Why? Because what did Rav Yirmiyah say? That even metaltalin. So he says, Karka, what do we name Karka? Enough to sustain he and his family from the Peiros. Time amai. What's the reason that the matana is like the matana? Because Mistama, he gave, why do we say for sure he gave it as a full matana? Because the Ika Samach Alei. Because if he recovers from the sickness, he has on what to rely on to survive.
For himself, yeah.
For himself. And the family. And also the same thing, Metaltale Nami, Ikairi. If he's going to recover from his sickness, Samachi Lavaya, he's going to be able to be Samech on the merchandise for Panasa. With the Metaltale. So it was that's he gave the reason behind it. Maskela Rav Yosef, the effect of Shiloh. My Kavanta. What's Zazim doing? What he makes saying so exact. Man the Oma, the one that said even Metaltalim, which is Abiyimia, is a kasha. Karka Tanan. How is he saying? Oh, they were so exact. Look at the words in the Mishnah, it's not exact. The word steht Karka, sagt nicht exact, sagt Metaltalim. Verkehrt von Karka. And Man the Oma, Ketei Panasase. And the one that says the shear of Karka is enough for to sustain him and the family. How Ketei Panasase? Kol Shut Nan. Mit nicht gelernt Ketei Panasase. Got pinching, pizza, nothing. So it's not exact. Don't tell me that it's exact. Amalei Abaya. So Abaya's first going to answer on the first shiloh. He said metaltalin, and he said it's not exact because the Mishnah says karka. So Amalei Abaya. So Abaya said back to Aviyasa, the chol heicha detani. In every place where they learn the word karka dafka. Doesn't mean karka, dafka karka, but none. We learned in the Sechta Peya, Gimel Mishnah Ches. Remember the Mishnah. This one is Ches. We're going to learn 3 Mishnahs of Peya. So let's stick. Remember this one is Ches, the last Mishnah. Koisef kol nechasim la'avdei. One who writes all his nechasim to his servant. He says, I give the alts, everything.
He was a good servant.
Yeah, Yatsa ben Chayim. He goes out free. Why? Because he is part of the Nechasim. So part of the Nechasim is Makna the Evet himself, plus all the Nechasim.
We're talking about a guy.
Yeah, Evet Kanani. Shia Karka Kolshu. But what's if he left over a little bit from the Karka for himself? And he didn't say which Karka. He wrote the star in the star, Chutz me Karka Kolshu. So then we say, Lo Yatsa ben Chayim. He doesn't go out free. Why? Since he didn't say which karka, and is mukish lekarka, so the karka kosher could be going on the evet. Says, you kind of everything, but you're not kind of yourself. So you're still mine. So Masha kind of evet, kind of rabbi. There was a story. He got back everything. So there was a story where evet attacked the Adin. He attacked the Adin. And he told me, you better give me everything you have. He says, no problem. Just going to leave a little bit of the shir karka kosher. He says, I want to leave something for my son, the karka kosher. And when he came back to Eretz Yisrael, he showed that the father gave him everything. But just, he left a little piece of karka. The doesn't gleich verstanden. The shir karka kosher is the evet. And everything goes back to the son. He wasn't stupid. The father knew exactly what it was. Oh boy, he wasn't stupid. Rab Shimon, it's happens to Maisa. It's in the Medish. I don't remember which pasha. The Evet Kanani hat gemeint, that er eingehabt als in Gamenen. Als er going to Bezdin. Eilige Evet.
There's no one else to go.
Yeah, he wanted to collect everything from that back in Eretz
The
Yisrael.
only court there was.
Yeah. He wanted all the deeds back on his name. Rabbi Shimon Naibab. Rabbi Shimon says, "La'olam hu ben chayrim." Rabbi Shimon says he's a ben chayrim. No matter what, he's still a ben chayrim. Why? So he says, "Acha yoyma kol nechasai nesunin leploini avdi chutz me echad meribu shabam." Till he says all my nechasim are going to ploni evet, except for 1/10,000. So 1/10,000 goes on the evet. Only then if he says except 1/10,000. If he leaves out karka, if he's shiyam karka kolshu, the Eved is still free, and he's kind of everything. Because he argues, and he says that Eved has a din like metaltalin. And therefore, when he excluded a karka kolshu,
wasn't David.
it wasn't Eved. Unless he said chutz me'echad riboy. Here he brings down. רק אם האדם לא יפריש סוג הנחש שהוא משaya, על שיר וסתם חלק מנכס, ובמקרה זה יש להם שגם הנס לשaya זה עבד העצמאי. וכן שהוא קייס לא כל נכס חוץ מאחד מריבוי שבהם. יש להם שaya זה אחד מריבוי, that's the one, the 1/10,000 is going on the Eved. But not if he mentions karka. So you have machlokes. Okay, let's finish off. So he says, Omar Abdime Rabbi Yosef. Omar Rabbi Elazar. Abdime Rabbi Yosef said, in the name of Rabbi Elazar, also metaltlin shiur eitzel Eved. If the Gabi the Eved, the Tanakama said, he was shiur karka kolshu, so v'loy also metaltlin shiur eitzel ksuba. He says, when it comes to shiur will help that the Eved is, when he's shiur karka kolshu, the Eved doesn't go free. But not by ksuba. What does it mean? By a ksuba, they considered the Eved as metaltalin. He still doesn't go out.
What do you mean, what's the case by Ksuba? What's the case?
Okay, so we're going to say so only even by metaltalin, if he was Messiah, even metaltalin, he doesn't go out free. He holds side karka. I'm going to get to Ksuba in a second. First, let's understand here. Eved has a din like karka, that he's nikna b'kinyonim like karka, but nevertheless, bepeil, he has a din like metaltalin because he's not mechubel karka, and people use the lashon of metaltalin even on Eved. So therefore, even if the other left a culture of metaltalin in the Mishnah, is also referring to the Eved. So now, now I'm going to tell you the Mishnah before this. Here we spoke about Kesef Kol Nechasav Le'avdoi, right? Now this Zion is HaKesef Nechasav Levanav. We had this before. Somebody who writes all his Nechasim to his children. She was standing there, and he writes, and he's dividing up all the karka. Part of the karka is her ksuba, but he leaves her a very little piece. So we said she was meichel on ksuba. She was, yeah, this is the amount from before. Right. But if he left her over metaltalin and no karka, so we say she wasn't meichel. Because metaltalin is not the karka. Part of the ksuba was karka.
Metaltalin, if she be quiet, also if she be, you wouldn't say anything.
By metaltalin, no. Then he has to give her karka.
He has to give her.
Yeah, it's a separate thing. Shim shiyah karka kosher leyatz ben chayrin. V'kol makim eina kavana dafka lekarka legam metaltalin nesham kishiyah. Again, by Kaisel Kol Nechasav, when he writes all the Nechasim, by a Ksuba, if it's Karka and he divided all the Karka and he left her a little small piece of Karka, much less than was prescribed in the Ksuba, that was written in the Ksuba, and she kept quiet, she was Meichel. If he gave all the children the Karka and left her metaltalin, then she's not Meichel. That's the halacha. So
Ksuba, you connect to karka.
Ksuba is connected to the karka, sure.
Even a little bit of metaltalin, right?
Even if a lot of metaltalin, she's not meichel on the karka from the ksuba. It has nothing to do with the ksuba.
So whatever it says in the ksuba regarding the
karka, she gets. She was never meichel on that. That's what we said last time.
Because he said, because he left her over a little bit, right?
If he left over a little karka, and she said nothing, then she was meichel. So he says, that if he left over karka kolshu, the Eved, it doesn't go ben chayrin. But that's the kavan is not dafka the karka. Even if he left over a little bit metaltlin, the evet does not go out free. So
Sometimes we treat an Eved like
metaltlin and the karka. So but not over there. But by the case hakais the kol nechas of leishtoi, right? If he would have left over evet even, right? It's not a mechila. It has to be dafka karka.
I mean, if it has to do with the ksuba.
Yeah. So Gemara Hasam din the Mishnah and pay. So you see, karka metalton are the same. So why? So he says Hasam din in the Mishnah Misach pay bedino the like listening karka. Remember, the Mishnah shouldn't have used the word karka because even metalton,
Is also good.
if he left over a little bit of metalton, it includes the evet, and the evet doesn't go free. Why did he use the lashon karka in our Mishnah? He says, "Why did the Tana Reisha?" Because we learned in Mishnah Vav. That what we learned in Mishnah Vav. Yetz Vav. Before was Zion. The one with the Ksuba was Zion, and he's going to tell you why do we learn in Ches the lashon karka? Because in Mishnah Vav we learned karka. What was the Mishnah there? It says over there in the Reisha. Rabbi Akiva hima karka koshu. Even a little piece of karka, a tiny karka, chayeves bepeyo bikurim. One becomes obligated to give pay and bikurim. Somebody who cuts a field, he says, he has to leave in the corners of the field tfuah of Lake Tzuril Tzerich Aniyim for the Tzerich Aniyim. Even by a tiny piece of karka, you have to stick to the mitzvah of
But if you
payah.
leave anything over, then it becomes hefker, right? It's considered hefker.
What do you mean? He has to leave. He says it doesn't matter if it's a small piece of karka. That small piece of karka, he has to leave the corners of payah.
But if he says that karka is not mine anymore.
No, we're not talking about it. We're talking about it's his karka.
This
This is a small piece. You still have to give payah. And if there were the Shiva minim growing there, you have to take off from the first, from Bikurim, and bring it up to Eretz Yisrael, even though it's a tiny piece of karka. So you see, even karka koshu. And the same thing the Mishnah says, V'lichtev aleyem pruzbol. Remember, in the year of Shemitah, nobody would lend out money when it got close to Shemitah because they'll lose the chayv. So you had to write a pruzbol that in order, the Chacham Masakin, people should lend the money, and they would write a pruzbol to protect it, that they're giving over all the nechasim to Bezdin. But in order to that it should take, the pruzbol should be chal, you needed a piece of karka. How much karka? Afilu kol shul, he says. V'ashel liknes mahem nechas shein la'chayes b'kesel b'shtav nechazaka. He says,
today you bring our pruzbol, you have no karka.
no, you have a you maknet with a little bit of karka.
Today,
Even today, it has to be with a
Everybody
karka.
has down the
you have like a house.
Anything, yeah, right. Even rental property. So he says and also when again kinyan agav, even a small piece of karka could do the kinyan of agav. So you had to mention that Mishnah above the Indian of karka. So Mishum hachi katani karka. That's why over here we also learn
Karka.
the lashon of karka. That's it.